Good
What's up?
evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good Wednesday evening.
Good Wednesday evening.
Wednesday
Wednesday.
evening. Wednesday evening.
What's up, y'all? Happy Wednesday.
Y'all. Happy
Yay.
Wednesday.
Welcome to
young
real
Mark.
life. Well, hey,
In
Brigitte.
London. How are you?
England.
Wonderful.
Welcome, everyone that is
Yeah.
tuning in right now. We are so happy to have you on
We
this
are happy to be
Wednesday.
here.
Yes, I am very happy to be
Very
here.
happy to
We're
be
happy to have
here.
young Marv in the building.
What's up, yo?
Yo, he doing big things in the world, you know.
Maryland.
Mhm.
The whole gang is back. You okay?
Yay!
Right, for like the first time in
Yay.
like what, 10 days?
In like
It's
10
like been
days.
like 10 days because it was the Sunday before, right?
In like 10 days. I go with that.
10 days.
2 weeks?
I don't know.
Okay, so 14 days.
What? Wait.
I don't know.
Was
It's
it
been that long?
It's been a long time because you
No.
weren't here this past Sunday.
Yeah.
or Wednesday?
Or
Or
But I was here
Wednesday.
the Sunday before, right? And y'all was here the Sunday before.
No, but you did Wednesday prior.
But I'm saying that Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday.
We
Y'all-
shouldn't
we were
have
all
to
here.
think this hard.
Well, it's
You know,
a family
We
reunion.
shouldn't have to think this hard.
We shouldn't.
He said like a month. See?
It has not been a month.
See?
Why are
It
people so
feels like
dramatic?
He's counting. He
It
knows
feels
it's
like
been
a month.
It
like
has
a month.
not, and it does feel like a month.
That's
But
how
it's
much
not been
your
a month.
presence has been missed.
Well,
Yes.
I'm glad to be
Yeah,
back.
just take it for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone that's online. Go ahead and
Yeah.
start sharing.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring. We know that
Young
you care.
Marv averaged out 9 times a month.
You know what?
Oh,
I just
9
gotta
times a
decide.
month.
There's only 8 shows a month. I can't get any love in
Unless
this
there's
place.
5 weeks.
Unless it's 5 weeks. Okay. I cannot get any
Yeah.
love in this place.
Hello, Tracy.
Hey,
She
Miss
said y'all ain't
Tracy.
seen each other since Easter.
We
That's
ain't
what
seen each
Tracy
other
said.
since the last
There it
time
is.
we saw each
Easter.
other.
Easter.
Yes.
So that's
Okay,
been
so
2
we-
weeks.
2 weeks. So that was 14 days.
14.
No, more
No,
than
14.
14
Oh, yeah,
because
like
this,
17.
yeah, like probably
Ooh,
17,
wee.
maybe
Ooh,
21.
wee.
Okay,
Ooh,
maybe 21.
Ooh,
Yes.
That is a hot mess. Okay,
Wait a minute.
Hot
Somebody
mess.
look at payroll and
Okay.
see.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Look at payroll. He is running out of
Okay.
sick days and vacation.
Lord.
Yep.
Okay.
No more time off for you. Okay, you didn't exhausted all of your
Okay.
time
Thank you,
off.
Pastor Reggie. Thank you. Thank you. I tried.
Brigitte, hold it down.
Okay. P.O.P. Hold it down.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little chilly in here, so if y'all see me shake a little bit, I ain't doing a
That's
Harlem
why
Shake.
I have
I'm just a little
all in
all
sweatshirt.
in. See, I should have went and got
It's
my
good
jacket.
for the spring.
Yes.
It's good for the winter. And it's thin. So, hey,
Yes.
if you don't have your all-in gear, you need to get it.
I
But
love
only
it. Yeah,
get
all-in
it
gear,
if
right.
Y'all,
you're
I
all in.
gotta keep the paper right here because
You know you tore them pants before you. You probably
could you
snagged
imagine?
it.
Could you imagine? I gotta pop my.
See, they
I got my
can't
collar
even
off.
see it.
Yeah, let's keep it like that. Let's keep it like that. Now, one
So
more
he's
to
gonna
say-
have
see
this
that-
one, but he'll show
Yeah, but we
that
can
one
do
over
it. You can
there.
see the knee,
Okay.
but this
But
a
not the
little.
He
thigh.
snagged that.
The
He
little thigh
snagged that
area.
a little bit.
That was a bad mistake.
Hey, Ava. Hey,
Hello,
Courtney.
Hey, y'all, welcome.
Granny.
Hey,
Hey,
y'all.
Granny.
I just want to know, is there a video for the pajama night party midnight talk show?
Oh,
Yeah, be there or be square.
See?
I said the same thing. I said, I hope we have a footage that we could just show one. We need to show it
Just a snippet or
just
something.
snip it up.
See it.
every now and
I
again.
like the whole single part.
The single.
Well, yeah, he said I'm single.
I'm
He
like,
made that
and what
very,
does that
very
mean?
clear.
Single?
What does-
That
yeah.
means he's single. He's not. What does it mean? He's not looking.
No. It means
Or
he's
just mean
single.
he's
He's not
single.
dating.
He's not dating.
married.
He don't
Okay,
have
explain
anybody
it.
in the wings.
He's exploring.
Nobody
no
in the
one
wings.
can claim him. That's single.
Now, I will tell you this. I don't know if I told you on Sunday, but he is a pastor.
Is he?
Okay.
Yes, his name
Oh, I
is
didn't know that.
Pastor Reggie
Yes.
Heath.
Oh, that's
So,
crazy. We had two
yeah.
Pastor Reggies
We had
on the
two
panel.
Pastor Reggies on the panel. We
Okay.
did. We
What
did.
are the odds?
So I was wondering how many inboxes he got that night.
I know, right?
Because when you say you single, and for
Uh-huh.
our unmarried ladies, you know,
It does.
It says off a little
a
ding.
little.
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
single.
and he was intelligent.
He
Knew what he was talking about, you know. He came with some jewels, some nuggets.
the comments were they were very helpful.
Were they?
Young Mom had a lot of good things to say too.
I didn't have a lot to
He
say.
had a lot of good
He's a
things
Kojic
to
pastor.
say.
Yes, he's
Oh,
a
is
Kojic
he?
pastor.
Oh.
He is.
Okay.
Right. He needed security
He from
leaving the
Church
building.
of
He
God
did.
in Christ.
Church of God in
Okay.
Christ. Where what did it say? You
Jesus.
can't join it. You got to be
You gotta
born
be born
into
in.
it.
Yeah.
I was
The
Baptist,
true
so
life.
you know,
Me too.
I
Church
was
of God
born
in-
into the Baptist.
Me too.
I literally was born into
I do have a lot of hair on my
born
face.
into
It's more than I usually keep.
Okay.
It'll be gone soon. I think, maybe.
Trust.
We'll see.
Trust.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
We'll
Right.
see.
Praise God.
Everybody should be headed
Yes,
to the
and
building
everybody
tonight.
should be sharing.
Sharing
Yep,
and
let's come on,
caring,
continue to
but
share.
head on to the building. This is our first Wednesday in-person
Jason
gathering.
Mitchell.
Hey, Jason.
We
Y'all
love
know.
you too.
Y'all know
Love
what
you.
happens on first Wednesday.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
always amazing. It's always powerful. Come on in the building. Come
Yeah.
on.
In
Come
the
on.
room.
You know, I always see you
Come
here.
on.
I love our first Wednesdays. But he was about to go in. Let's go ahead.
We got our camera operator singing too. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Shout out. Shout out
Shout
to
out.
everyone behind the scenes right about now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
But no, yes, it's first Wednesday. We have a great panel for you all tonight. It's going to be good. You know, we tackled into the detox family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Starting family on
Yeah.
Sunday. And so now we just gonna trickle that on into this community talk tonight. You don't want to miss it. I know that you're on your way. So come on, be safe.
Yep.
Get here, and we want to see you in a moment, but it's gonna be good.
It's going to be
With a T.
awesome.
Good.
Good.
Okay. Make sure you're here. Okay, so young Marv, let me just I need you to give some information out on young Marv is a superstar.
Superstar Ra.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so recently I think they aired his episode. I know at least I saw it.
Oh.
I got an actual video of it. Young Marv, he can give us a little bit more detailed about it. Camera here, camera. Where you at, camera? Where you at, camera? I need it here because I need to hear. Okay, here we go. Let me tell you. Come close. The scene that I saw, that
I
young
saw
Marv
it too.
was.
Yes, I saw it too.
Young Marv out here being gangsters and
Being ratchet. Okay?
ratchet. I mean,
Ratchet.
jailbirds, everything. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I know that's young Marv. That's not Marvin. That's young Marv. But he doing big things, y'all. Y'all gotta stay tuned because you're gonna see a lot of him. A lot more of him. Billboards, and you're gonna see commercials and all those things. I stand with my brother, okay? But he gonna give us a little bit about what he was a part of, so that you won't miss this. Come on, young Marv, take it away. Tell us about your setup.
Saints. Anyways,
Saints and friends.
it's on the show. You should go watch it. You got to Google and find out what it is. I'm not gonna say what it was.
What's
but
the name of the show?
It's a show that you should go watch. And
how can they find out? Just Google Marvin shows that Marvin is in.
You should go find out what show it is. Do your research. Earn it.
You know what?
If you are
Cameraman,
his
come on
mother's
for him.
friend
See,
on
this
Facebook,
is what I'm saying. This is why I don't want to tell the people. Your pastor said, "Come on, Marvin, cuss for us." See, this is why I don't tell the saints
That's your pastor. No, your mama told the saints. She put a whole post up on Facebook and said, "My baby is in the show and it's premiering." And I had saw it the day before.
Wait a minute, did you cuss? Because I
you didn't see that part?
I didn't see that. I only saw
potty
the
mouth.
Oh,
potty mouth in the jail.
Donald cursed.
In the jail.
Donald cursed.
Where you at? You were on the playground in the jail yard. In the yard.
In the playground.
In the jail playground. He was.
Yes.
He was on the yard. In the yard.
Curse. Donald cursed.
He was in character.
I was in character.
Yeah, he was in
But
character.
it was great. Okay, it was a great experience.
Okay, come on.
I did. It's called 61st Street. Go watch it.
Okay.
It's a great show. I have been like really promoting the show, pushing the show because it's a show about Chicago.
Okay.
Filmed in Chicago.
Okay.
Based in Chicago,
Okay.
using Black Chicago actors. It's just it's produced by Black people through AMC. Like it's telling a real powerful story just about justice and Black people and Blackness and all of this. And it's executive produced by Michael B. Jordan. I admire him so much. Seriously, he's like a really, really big deal to me. So. It was great to be on set. It was great to work with all the actors. And
you had some nice, like Courtney B. Vance was in there.
Auntie Ellis, who also played in the Clark Sisters movie. She played Maddie Moss.
Yeah.
So it's a really good show.
So can we expect more scenes than that one from Donald?
In this season, as far as I know, no, but they have been telling us be on standby, right? Because it is a pilot. It's the first season, and they just got greenlit for the second season.
Okay.
So they're putting a whole bunch of storylines out there. If you're watching the show, you'll notice there are a lot of storylines happening, but that's because they're trying to see what sticks, and then they'll prepare to move forward.
What channel?
It's on AMC.
AMC. So wherever your AMC is.
Yes.
Come on, Marvin.
And you can watch it on the AMC Plus app. That's where I watched it. You can watch it if you have Xfinity or something like that.
What episode were you?
Episode 4.
Okay.
So when you watched it, what did you think? Watching yourself or watching Donald, what did you think?
So I didn't watch it live, which I think is also a different experience, but I never do that because that's just weird.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Empire until 6 months after Empire came out. It was it was a minute, legit. But that's a good question. When I watched it, I was I think I always have the anxiety. Did I suck? Was I bad?
No.
You try to remember. You
how did my voice sound?
You was how did I sound? What was it and then you're oh no, I start to remember the day, and then you see it and you oh yeah, I remember I did that. I forgot we was playing basketball. So then I saw that and they cut some of that out. We had other little things that we were doing, but I mean. It was what it was. It was fun.
So how did you feel? Look, we done made this about
Let me get your email and password on AMC Plus. No, I canceled that free subscription.
Lord,
it was 7 days free.
Corey.
It was 7 days free.
No, I never mind.
Yeah, you got access.
I got
access. It was 7 days free. I got those 7 days. I went and watched my episode, and then I pushed cancel and moved on about my life.
It tricks you because you got to push cancel before the 7 days over.
But Apple has this new thing.
If you forget.
Yes, Apple has this new thing. You go to your settings, click subscriptions, and you can see all your running subscriptions.
Really?
You can cancel them, and they will wait and cancel it for you at the end of the month.
I was going to say, do they cancel it for you?
They'll let you keep watching it, and then at the end of the month, they'll cancel for you. Yes.
I like that because they get a lot of money out of people that forget them 7 days.
Cookie did come out. But I do want to say one more thing. Because we're not going to make this about me being on TV. But I do want to say this. When I was on the Empire set, though, y'all, Taraji P. Henson is Cookie. She's very nice. She's all that. Don't get me wrong. But when we were in rehearsal, she didn't know a single line. She just came out. She was then I'm gonna say this, and she's looking at her lines. Yes. And then when we got to the actual filming of it, she's so just into that character that it was just effortless. So much so, her son called in the middle of us recording one of her scenes. She picked up the phone and said, "You know how she cuts off my line when she goes, hold on." Boy, I'm at work. I gotta go. Hangs up, comes back in character. Okay, let us hear this song. Come on.
Wait, so that was a real call?
It was a real call.
Wow. And we wouldn't have known that.
Never know. Right. And then when they say cut, the director came out what? Did your phone really ring? And she was like, yeah, my son just called. But she's just so in it. It didn't even take her out of it. And I'm just wow, that's really cool to have been around and experienced.
I like that. Her son got precedence over that show.
I love
her son called it. Right into it.
I loved it.
Fit right into it.
Her son called and she picked up that phone.
I like that.
And that's what we talked about. I was there all day, and that's what her and Gabby Sidibe, we talked, and we talked about religion, we talked about God, we talked about all kind of stuff. Family, how you balance family and work. We talked about all of that. And that was something she brought up. She was if my son calls, I'm answering.
That we go. And see, we're in the family series and we're talking about family and what is more important.
See,
come on.
See, segued into that.
Absolutely. That family, even family meetings, family gatherings that we have on every 15th of the month. Are you having your family meetings? And what is a family? Family, as Pastor was talking about on Sunday, families are different these days. We do. Some families do have the husband and the wife and the children and the dog and the picket fence or whatever. But we also have single mothers, we have single fathers, we have grandmothers and all kinds of things. And so we stay connected through families. But I like the fact that family, as popular as that show is, as the money that she's making on that, when her son called,
she answered.
She did.
She answered.
In the middle of the scene.
It wasn't even like she waited to the end of the scene and said, hold on, I need a moment.
Right.
She just pushed answer.
I love it.
That was good.
That went well, though.
It did. You thought it was in the scene.
Yeah.
Not that, it was something off or whatever. That's probably why they kept it in there, too.
See?
You know, in acting and things, and I know that because I'm gonna watch Donald. Okay, because my girlfriend sent me a snippet of like, there's Marv. I'm like, oh, there's Marv. And also my nephew is in it. Shout out to yes, Jermaine. He's in it as well.
Come on, Jermaine.
Being as a Christian. And having roles like this, having roles. I had a role some time ago. It was my very first time that I had to curse. I am not a cursor in real life. You can ask my friends, family, whatever. I don't like to say the curse words. However, but being a Christian, how does it make you feel to when you do have roles? You have to play a role. You have to play a bad guy or whatever. How does it make you feel when you feel like you have to come out of character to become this character, and then you have to let your family and your friends and everyone see this? How does that make you feel?
All right, I've had to answer this a lot, so I'm answering fast. I think it's really interesting. One, first of all, any job that you do, there's a grace for it. And when I say grace, I don't mean like there's a grace over you to do bad and it's just like God's. I'm saying it's not for everybody, and everything is not for everybody. So that's the first thing. But to answer your question, I feel acting, to me, and the way I've always been trained, is that acting is telling real stories, right? We're not up there acting. We're not up there faking. You are taking somebody's real circumstance, because although this may not be your circumstance, this is somebody's real circumstance. If I'm playing a murderer, no, I ain't never murdered nobody, and God, please don't let me like run over somebody or something, you know what I'm saying? But maybe the character I'm playing was in his car and rolled over somebody. And so it's about being truthful. To answer your question, how I guess you're saying, how do I reconcile it with my morals?
Yeah.
Is that it's one, it's honest, and it's truthful. And here's the thing. I'm trying to think about the best way to put this.
It's just saying it. That's the best way.
I think it's interesting because you are the character. I'm not being Marvin. Thank you, Jason. But I think moreover, it's like, there are certain things like we talk about, like somebody's going to tell this story. So let's do it justice and let's do it right. And it's like, there is somebody in jail right now who would literally challenge somebody else to a race. And that's exactly how he's going to say it. So why lie? Why fake it? Why, and so there are certain things that are just boundaries for me that I won't do, that people know. There are certain characters that I won't play. There are certain characters I've been offered that I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do that because I can't go to sleep every night playing this character. And so I think you have to know your bounds, but I think it's different for everybody. Same with being a police officer or whatever. Like, you are graced to do certain things. So that's a roundabout way I think of answering it. But I think the short version is that you are playing a character, and I think it's hard for people on the outside to always understand that and to see that. But you have to be able to sleep at night. God gave you the Holy Ghost, and you have to be able to reconcile, like, okay, I can't say this, or I can't do this, or no, this is me telling a very honest story. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff is just out of left field. And they just got you doing it, and you up there looking a fool. Then there are other things like this where it's like, that's what happens in jail. That's,
She said, "Cuz just don't get naked."
Cuz just don't, and that's one of my things. I'm like, those are certain scenes like that I won't do.
Certain scenes.
Cussing isn't just verbal
anyways. That's interesting.
Yes, and yes, Miss Tracy, my Tracy Jazzy. She said, "Don't act like we ain't seen your reel either." Praise God. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was actually gonna say after she said that. I was gonna say, listen, Bridget is such a good host. She's sitting here asking questions. I could ask both of y'all. You acted on TV, but it is part of your job, part of your calling to get up in front of people, sometimes on a weekly basis, sometimes on almost a daily basis. No. I ask you questions about your
real quick though. Back to that cursing.
She said, I don't cuss. Don't pull me in this. That's part of this. Right.
Well, I do have an example.
I thought you were gonna say, well, I do cuss.
I have an example with a whip out. I do have an example for me.
But what's a good example for you?
With accounting.
With the what?
With accounting.
Oh.
So dealing with a lot of money, a lot of people's money, I can have the opportunity to steal. But I don't, because that's something that's ingrained in me. Stealing is wrong. So for me, it's not it's not the cussing or different scenes. It's my integrity.
Yep.
So that's what
and everybody has like that thing, your thing that you have to be careful of the places God has put you, the rooms He's allowed you to be in, and how you represent Him while you're there.
Absolutely.
Because I think it was Sinbad that said he'll like never curse.
Yeah,
I think that's one of his things he did when he was doing his stand up. He's like, I will never curse.
Yeah.
And that's his conviction.
Yeah.
And he has to stick to that. You know what I'm saying? What will
you say?
Yeah, I was saying even in regards to that, because I do remember like the first role that I had. I did this film some time ago. It's called Father's Day.
Because her resume is long. Let's be very clear.
God, hallelujah.
Her resume is long. So she just want to let y'all know this is not some idea recent. This is back
long time ago.
This way back.
I've been acting since the late 90s. But anyway.
Okay.
I did this movie called Father's Day.
How old were you in the late 90s?
I was still young.
Okay.
I was still young. I think. Yes, because I'm still young. But it did make me feel like at that time, I really was like, I'm a praise and worship leader, and I'm this and I'm that. My mother.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing, is like my mother. At that time, my son was younger and all of that or whatever. And so it was uncomfortable. I love the character I had to be. I had to be kind of rowdy and all of this stuff. But then it was like, oh, these my words. And so even in rehearsal, I wouldn't even curse in the rehearsal time. I would just like skip over it or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but realistically, how does this character is? And that's what you're saying. Like, you're playing a role, but this is you. Yeah. This is you. When I become Gracie, when I become Rachel, when I become Stacy, and some of the characters I play, that is who you are for now. That is who you are. So I had to Pastor talked a long time ago about like being convicted. I think it was about the drinking. Mm-hmm. And then like what you're convicted by and what convicts you. And I had to actually come out of myself and say, hey, because I want to play a crackhead. I really want to play a crackhead. And so I was like,
it's not the lose some weight for
not a person addicted to drugs.
No, I want to play a real crackhead. I just feel like that is an exciting.
We were talking about weight loss and stuff on Sunday, so that would be a perfect role if you want to get your weight loss journey started.
I'm gonna be at the beginning of the crackhead journey. Yes,
and then the weight just.
But no, it is. It's good. It's when you can identify that, because I was very uncomfortable with it. But of course, as time went on, I had to be okay with myself saying, this is a role. This is what you're doing. This is now the whole naked thing and all of that stuff or whatever, But and what you're comfortable with and that was my biggest thing. Like, children know me all over. Mm-hmm. And so that was my thing now is like, ooh, my kids. That's Auntie Bridget, you know? And so that's why I said, okay, I'm gonna do some little children commercials and books and things like that or whatever. But that was hard for me at one point. But
well, that's interesting that you said that. I think we had this conversation a while back, and I don't know if you remember. It was a long time ago. It was when Insecure was first starting to become big, and we were all obsessed with it. And I don't know if you remember, because I know y'all don't watch it. Right? No. She's seen an episode because we talked about it. But after you saw the episode, you was like, "I'm done watching this." Oh, okay. It was when it first came out. It was like maybe season 1 or 2. We all got you to watch it.
That was another one of them shows that I watched. It was a few. He was like, okay, can't watch this. I ain't watching this. Okay. But we talked about Insecure. Insecure is a real good show. Yeah. But it does like talk about the whole life of like living in LA, and it gives like that very honest, real representation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a character on there. She's the best friend of Issa. Her name is Molly, and she's played by a person named Yvonne Orji. That's her name. Okay. And she's a Christian. She's a devout Christian. She's actually still a virgin.
I was gonna say she's still a virgin.
Right. But on her character on the show,
she hot.
She's like this professional. She's a lawyer. She all this kind of stuff, and she just messes with a lot of men and like whatever. And she talks about like people would ask her like, well, how can you play this character? Right. You know, like that's not your truth. And she was like, right, but that's Molly's truth. And she was like, and I'm not advising everybody to go do that, because it's also got to be, you also have to understand that these roles, these jobs you take, it doesn't matter if it's in acting or if it's in real life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're still representing yourself. You're representing God, your parents. So you got to think about all those people that you carry with you. Yeah. But you had said something one time when we were talking about this.
What did I say?
Right. You had said something about the bounds that each person has or something like that. You said something about like God giving us bounds or something like that, or parameters, or like don't go outside. Like we were talking about like the grace of God or something like this. Okay. This was years ago because what is it? Insecure done now. It's like season 6. So this had to be like 6 years ago. I mean, it was a long time ago. But I just remember you talking about that. And I just think it's interesting because I do think it's an ongoing conversation that people, Bamboozled by Jesus is her book.
Yeah, I think Yeah.
So her book is Bamboozled by Jesus, how she got tricked into purpose, I think, or something like that. And how God tricked her into her destiny or something like that. And it's just, it's an interesting conversation. Just that we can have. We need a podcast. Let's have a podcast.
We do. I can't see what the
podcast.
comment passing on. I tip my hat to you.
To all accountants.
all
I took that class at Triton, and I'm glad that's over.
I just wish I could remember what you said, but it was just about the grace of God.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
You know.
Who's this coming back? But she said yes because when
someone
I have
come
to
get passed on.
talk to some of these members about their insurance, and I have to be redundant, I ask God to please help these cuss words that goes across
my mind. Don't come out of my mouth.
You know how he's going to help you, Tracy? Put your hand over your mouth.
Okay.
When it comes to your head, put it over your mouth.
Yep.
And they won't come out. Okay.
That's the word. I would love to hear that conversation. Latrina said Creative Buzz has had great conversations around that book.
Okay. Small group.
By Jesus.
Okay.
It's that small group. That's small group.
Yeah. That's their life group.
Creative Buzz. Okay.
Yeah. So I do think stuff like that is interesting. I think about always everything you do, how you represent God, like just all that, and like literally everywhere you go, you are representing somebody
in every area. No matter, like I said, for accountants, you wouldn't think that, but from accountants to doctor, lawyer, actor, teacher, whatever, you still have to represent God, and you still have to have integrity. You know,
people see that.
People see
that. Absolutely. So.
Yeah, that's powerful.
So it is.
Y'all are great discussion with Jason. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all, we are gearing up for this panel.
She said, just send y'all reels to Tyler Perry. He will hire y'all.
Come on.
Okay. I can.
I received.
It's ready. I'll send it to him.
Yes.
Hey, send it. She not playing. What's his email address?
I got some updates to my real name.
I got to do some updates. It's been a good time. Mama Vaughn said the other day, it's been a long time. What we doing? What we need.
Mama Vaughn stays on
you need people to push you.
Mama Vaughn
when you become lackadaisical or you think like that season is past or whatever, you might get weary. You need somebody to push you and be like, hey girl, I want to see you. I want to see you on screen.
I love it. I needed that push too. I need that. She even made Mama Vaughn, shout out to you because
she does stay on it.
You look, I wasn't gonna even do a fashion show. She told me to go up there and for the women, I'm at the PJ thing, y'all. She told me to go up there and show my pajamas because they were nice.
They were.
And I did my pajamas.
And she won.
Come on, Mama Vaughn. And I wasn't going to even do it. So we need people. You need people in your life like that.
Need people in your life to push you. To push you.
I need to ask Mama Vaughn for some. Never mind. I'm hungry, so.
You're hungry.
Oh, Lord.
I am too.
I ate. I had spaghetti and garlic.
Cheese
and garlic bread. We made it.
Oh my gosh. I was
Casa de Royale. Okay.
We love you guys.
We love
thank you so much for being here. This panel is about to be powerful, so make sure you continue.
Don't stop sharing. Don't stop sharing.
Stop
tagging.
Sharing.
Hey.
Hold on to the feet.
Whatever he's saying.
Yeah, that right there. That's a hit right there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
He done made up all the words.
Day, everyone.
Look, we love y'all.
We love y'all.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Hello, Lifeline. It's time for our community updates. This week at Lifeline Church, LC Partners join Pastors Reggie and London for a Fulfillment Zoom meeting on Monday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. This meeting is for those who feel called to another level of ministry. Register today by texting the word fulfill to 54244. Tuesday, May 3rd at 8 p.m., Teaching and Devotion with Shanae Young. Wednesday, May 4th, first Wednesday in-person gathering at 7 p.m. Thursday, May 5th at 9 p.m., Lifeline Rewind. LC Partners, the 15th of every month is Family Meeting Day. This should be a time of vision keeping, goal setting, encouraging, problem solving, investment, and prayer with your family. May 22nd is Mexico Sunday. The seeds we sow support our Lifeline Monterrey, Mexico campus with Pastors Jesus and Victoria. Would you like to be baptized? Baptism is one of the most important ways we demonstrate our commitment and connection to God. Our next baptism will be Sunday, June 5th. If you would like to be baptized, please register on our LC website or mobile app. Marikia here from the Life Kids team, and I wanted to let you guys know that it was great seeing you on Easter Sunday. We love to see all of your children and your faces in our building. I also wanted to give a reminder that Life Kids is in session every Sunday. Check-in starts at 9:45 in the lower level. See you there. In the month of May, we are continuing our Liberty Offering Super Month. This is a time of sowing when we bring our best gifts to the house and we use it for upgrades, maintenance, and necessary purchases for our Lifeline campuses. And remember, we are a no-lack nation. LC partners and friends, get ready for our next Life Track class taught by Pastor London. Our next session will begin on Thursday, May 5th at 7 p.m. Learn how to discover your purpose and live the life God has designed for you. This is a free 4-week, 1-hour virtual class that will be held on Thursday evenings. This class is open to everyone and is a requirement to anyone seeking membership.
Winning women, y'all know what to do. Make some noise. Shh. I am here today to invite you to our annual high tea. It's going to be on Saturday, May the 7th at the Drake in Oak Brook. Bring yourself, bring your daughters, invite your sisters, your friends. Hey, get your fascinator. I got mine here. Get your fascinator. And join me for a sip of tea. That's going to be Saturday, May the 7th. Now pull out your phones right now, scan the QR code, and you can register today. Don't delay. Register today, and I will see you on Saturday, May the 7th at the Drake.
To all LC partners and friends, join us on May 8th for our Mother's Day 10 a.m. service. Come as we celebrate and honor the mothers who raised us and the ones raising the next generation.
Lifeline Ministers of Movement is excited to present to you all this year's edition of A Dancer's Heart. You thought last year was amazing? Well, I hope you all are ready to experience everything that God has for you all this year. So come ready to experience God's goodness through the art of movement and open up heaven. We hope you can join us on Sunday, May 22nd at 5 p.m. See you soon.
March. We're about to cross over. We're about to cross over.
As you can see, we have a lot happening here at Lifeline. Go to our LSOC website to see what you may have missed and more. Also, check out the Real Life Talk Show, which airs every Sunday and Wednesday before services. And remember, Lifeline Church is a place where love flows like a river. Catch the vision by reaching up to God, reaching into your fellow brothers and sisters, and reaching out to the community with the love of God. Have a great day.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another community talk. You was about to say something else? What were you about to say? I know. Yeah, y'all still caught up. Well, I hope you enjoyed the real life talk.
The spirit of the week now, we carnal.
But listen, it's First Wednesday, so we have people in the building. Can y'all make some noise?
See?
And I hope the rest of you are either on the way or you have a real good reason of why you're not on the way. But I see there's some watching online. To all those that are watching, I need you to share and tag real quick. Even if you're in the building, you know how we do it. Share and tag. Share the feed on your page and tag some people that you think should hear or you would like to hear what we're going to be discussing here tonight. It's going to be a good night. How y'all doing?
Oh, they can see the
Okay, y'all sound like y'all worked
too.
all day. I said, how y'all doing? You said we did work all day. Okay. It's going to be a great night. We have entered into the family portion of our detox series. And it's going to be absolutely, I believe, life transforming.
Yeah.
We started talking about trauma on Sunday. I feel like I was rushing But from the emails that I receive, people are already receiving what God is saying regarding this area. And so we're not coming in this month to talk about negative things and make you cry and make you dig up your past. We are going from trauma to triumph. We are getting to places of victory in our families, restoration, reconciliation, the whole nine. And I believe through these teachings, you'll see that happen. And so, again, take a minute and share and like and share and tag and do all of that good stuff. Let's get these numbers up. I always say this, not for numbers' sake, but so all of our community can be in on what we're doing. Is Crave in the house tonight? Okay.
That was weak.
That was real sad.
I see it.
I'm asking again, is Crave in the house tonight? Y'all,
So-
you know what?
11 to 18. If you're 11 to 18 in here, make some noise.
Y'all
That's
are really
weak.
tripping.
That's weak.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Our women sound better than y'all.
Kid, did you bring your belt?
Yeah.
Is Crave in the house?
Huh?
All right.
Good stuff. So I don't want to take up any more time. I want to get right to what we want to talk about tonight. And I already know we're not going to finish tonight, so be ready for next week. But we have some great people here tonight. Yes. And I want to start to my far right and just take a minute, take 30 seconds, 20 seconds. It's too long. 15 seconds, introduce yourself so we can make our way around to this end, and then we'll jump right into our discussion. Go ahead, start here.
Good evening. My name is Dominic Foster. I'm an elder here at Lifeline Church. I've been teaching with the Chicago Public Schools going on 33 years. And I've taught basically middle school and high school. And if you could think of children from one extreme to the other and in between, I've taught those type of students.
Amen.
Kat Foster. I have been a social worker, school social worker for about 19 years. I also was a prenatal counselor at a high school for about 16 years, Austin High School on the west side.
West side?
West side?
And I've been working with children all of my life.
Amen.
Okay.
I am Kia Bradley. I have 2 small children. I am a youth leader here at Lifeline with Crave. I also have, that's right, baby, that's right.
He gets a brownie point for that.
I also have my bachelor's in psychology and working on finishing up my nursing degree now. And I'm a mentor at my school for the new oncoming class.
Amen.
All right.
Lance Ellis, I've been working with diverse learners for anywhere between 7 to 10 years now. Just started working with the Chicago Public School System, so yeah.
Amen.
Antoine Sanders, one of the pastors here at Lifeline Church. Been in social services for 25 years. I've been at the therapeutic day school working with alternative students, behavior challenge students for the last 19 years. I've worked in the support staffs, crisis prevention, and teacher's assistant.
Amen.
Hi, my name is Dominique Shorter-Taylor. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I've been working in the field with children and adults with autism and other dual diagnoses for about 11 years now. And I'm an adjunct faculty at a university helping to bring on new BCBAs in the field, specifically women and men of color.
Amen.
My name is Markia Smith, and I have been working with early childhood, so that's 0 to about 5-year-old children since about 2010. And the last 6 years of that were spent in early intervention, which work with diverse learners and children with milestone delays.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Lewis. I am the leader of Crave Nation. I've been serving on Crave for about 3 years. So yeah, I'm repping Crave Nation today.
Listen, can we celebrate all of our panelists, please? And I wanted to be sure you heard who it was you're hearing from tonight. Sometimes you see people in church and have no idea of who they really are or what they do or what their area of expertise is, because I believe we all have one. So I am so excited about this panel. I think our children, our youth, our teens, us as parents, deserve what we're going to discuss tonight. And there are so many that I could have up here, and we'll have more panels. I was talking to them yesterday. I said, man, I can just see so many people that could be on the panel, but we can't have a panel of 100 people. So we'll kind of spread it out some. But I believe the local church has a responsibility when it comes to children and teens that have experienced trauma, and children and teens that have special needs or are differently abled. We don't use the term disabled, I use the term differently abled. And I can't remember in all of my years of church any of these subjects ever being discussed in the local church. And I think we need to do that. I think the church must begin to come up with ways to serve everybody. And it's not just different colors or different age groups, but we all process different, we all learn different, we all receive different. Again, some of us are differently abled, some of us children have experienced trauma and different things, and the church must serve that. On our call Monday night, our fulfilled call, one of our precious partners asked that question. And I have never received that question before. What does Lifeline have for those who have special abilities or special needs? We have to begin to address that. And you said something earlier about it seems like it's more now. What were you saying? Come on.
So I had the question, what is a special need and why is it seemingly so prevalent in today's time?
Right. So I don't know if you realize, but it's seemingly you're hearing more about it now. And 1 or 2 out of every 5 children have some type of special need, whether it's education or whatever. And I think it is right time that we discuss it. So my first question for the panel tonight, I'm just going to kind of host. I want to hear from you. How can the local church assist in addressing trauma among its youth members? How can we assist? Because here is the deal. If you just go off the first part of the series we started on Sunday, trauma is a real thing. And most of our young people and our adults have at some point in life experienced trauma and never dealt with it. Now, I'm not talking about the religious dealing with it. I'm not talking about just the prayer of the oil and the falling in the floor. I mean, actually confronting it, talking through it, coming up with some resolve, things like that. We got to begin to do that. How can we assist in addressing trauma among the youth in our local churches? Anybody can start with this.
I'll jump in with that one based on experience from when I was a youth. I believe that parents in a local community here should work with the leaders here at the church, especially with Crave. Now, Crave, I think you should embrace what I'm about to say. Your report cards, everything you do at school should be reported to some extent here at church because we need to support you in whatever you're struggling with, whatever you're wrestling with at school. There's spiritual support here that you may not be able to get at school. So, for example, if you're failing a class, we should know about it so we can offer support. In other words, the family and the church should be working together. We are a support system, just like the school is a support system. So we're not trying to be in your business per se. We're being in your business to support you, but not to condemn or to criticize. So there has to be collaboration between you, your parents, the school, and the local church. Because if you look up here at this group of people, this is really a dream team of educators. I mean, we have the ability up here, I mean, this is an awesome team to address any needs that anyone out there is struggling with, including Spanish. Okay? Now, I can't help you in physics. I can't help you in algebra. I can barely say trigonometry. So I can't help you in trigonometry. But this team up here, we need to partner with your parents. If you're struggling in a subject, we should know. If you're struggling social, emotionally, you know, if you're a Rice Krispie at school, you know, if you snap, crackling, and popping on people, we should know so we can help you. We're here to support you, okay? So there should be some collaboration. Grades come out every 9 or 10 weeks. Crave, we should be able to see your grades and ask you, identify people in the body of Christ here who can help you with a subject, who can help you social emotionally. So that's how.
Anybody else? Jump in.
So when it comes to trauma, and we were talking about unmet needs with the youth, I think that a big thing that the church, parents, everybody, we have to stop belittling their trauma.
Ooh, yes.
So we always hear, I'm sorry, but in the Black community, what you got to be depressed for? You got a house, you have your basic needs, you have this, you have that. What you got to be depressed for? We cannot continue to belittle how they feel and expect for them to come to us and trust us with how they feel. Because when we belittle them, we're rejecting them. So if we continue to do that, it's going to be trauma on trauma on trauma, and then they don't have anywhere to go. Who are they going to talk to? Maybe they do have us youth leaders, but because the trauma has been so bogus at home, when they come to church, it's like pulling teeth, trying to help them, trying to break the ice to say, you can really trust me, you can really talk to me, I'm here for you. So building that trust with your teens, building that trust within the youth, like we can say all day that we're here from them, we're here for them, but in what way are we showing up for them? If we're constantly saying, you don't have anything to be upset or depressed or angry, or if we can't even apologize to them and say that, hey, I messed up and I shouldn't have did that, or I didn't come at you correct, even though you came at me wrong, but I matched your energy.
Right. I think this is good because one of the things we said in the flyer even, we're going to confront the ignorance. And ignorance is not a bad word, it just means we don't know. And some of what Kia just said is because we just didn't know. We were not well versed in trauma. We were not well versed in these different things. And especially in our community, if you displayed anything outside of what we thought was normal, you would consider something's wrong with you, or you was crazy, or you need a counselor. And we didn't know how to deal with these things. That's why tonight is titled Confronting the Ignorance Regarding These Areas. I myself was very ignorant regarding trauma until we took classes with DCFS to even find out what it was, just the basics of it. And like, oh, that's trauma. And we know people now that have levels of trauma that it's only the grace of God that they're still here. And so that's good. Go ahead, Ellis. You're going to say something.
I think we misdiagnose trauma, and we take it and we look at it as drama, especially when you misdiagnose it. And our young people, they are screaming with pain. They're screaming with hurt, and when you misinterpret that, all you will see is the drama, or the charade behind it all. But we have to, like you said, we have to educate ourselves and try not to assume, or because when you assume, you make bogus diagnosis.
So how much, and I'm just going to throw questions out to keep it going. How much of culture must the parents understand? Because as Kia said, he says, why do you have trauma? You got your needs met, you got this, your mama here, your daddy here. I take you to school, I bought you some shoes. How much does the culture play in this, even if you feel like it's not coming from home? Right. Talk to us. Come on, y'all talk.
I think that's part of the problem, though.
Okay.
Because if we're being really honest, a lot of the trauma is coming from home, and a lot of trauma is coming from the church folks. I'm talking about the church folks, because a lot of times we're one way at church on Sunday, and we're a whole different way, you know, Monday through Saturday. So we come in here and we got our hands uplifted, we speaking in tongues and we hugging everybody. But during the week, we cussing our kids out and everything else. We slapping on our wives and all kind of stuff. And they see the inconsistencies, and that is really messing them up. And when you confront the parents about it, they don't want to be honest. And they say, well, we don't need no counseling. We saved, we sanctified, we filled with the Holy Ghost, and we speak in tongues.
It's also generational too, because what was trauma for me growing up may not have been trauma for my parents, right? And so we try to put on our children, you know, what we did not have or what we did not get. So if growing up shoes wasn't a problem for me, then hey, I'll tell the next generation, hey, you shouldn't have this. You shouldn't be worried about this. I didn't have this, and you're living better than I am. Not understanding that it's a different culture. It's a different generation now. You know what I mean? And so it's not about how you was raised, right? It's about now understanding what you are training and what's before you now.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with Elder Cat. Elder Cat, can I call you Elder Cat? but I also want to make sure I bring in the culture part, because the culture is a big part of this as well. Because children, especially those that claim Christ and said they're born again, they love the Lord, they go to church, they go to youth group, they're wrestling with two worlds. And part of that can cause trauma when you go to school, and I'm having to uphold the standard that I was taught at church or that I was taught by, you know, my youth leaders, and it's a whole different world there, and now I'm being criticized there, I'm being done this way there. That can cause trauma. And again, I agree with you. Sometimes as parents, because that didn't bother me when I was your age, I don't look at it as trauma. I look at it as you need to get it together, or you need to do this, or you need to man up. And my child has been traumatized. Come on, y'all jump in here on this side.
I was going to say, when I think of culture, when you ask how balanced should it be, I think culture is it really impacts us, because the culture right now is where our kids are learning to advocate for themselves and to have autonomy over their bodies and what they want to do. So for example, my son comes home and I say, do this or do that. And he's just like, Mom, I need a minute. Back in the day, we couldn't say, I need a minute. I need, you know, we didn't have time to transition from what happened at school to what happened. He doesn't even want to hear the question, how was your day? He just like, just give me a, and I had to respect that, because this culture is teaching them to,
that's good,
to have that respect for themselves. Don't let anybody take advantage of. We were just talking about this in the back. If a kid doesn't want a hug, you don't have to give them a hug, and that's what they're learning now. So there is a disconnect when you go out into the world and people are respecting your voice, and then you come home and the people who love you the most are telling you to shut up and listen to what I'm saying and go get the belt and all of these things, and not respecting your autonomy. Right. So it's a disconnect.
And we want to make sure we address that more and bring balance to that and understanding to that, because parents do need understanding there. There was a great example. I remember Justin would tell him and do that. And he would come in, we'd start saying something. He'd be like, I haven't even been able to unpack from school yet, whatever. And I'm like, what do you mean unpack? Get in there and do them dishes, boy. And it's not that we were intentionally wrong. That's just what we know.
We rehearse.
And I'm thinking, hey, what do you mean your day? I asked how your day was. You said cool. Now go wash the dishes. Well, I need a minute. And it was the same. I need a minute to kind of, y'all ain't even give me a minute to. And I'm like, what do you mean a minute? Get in there and do what I'm telling you to do. We gotta talk about that, because for some parents, they're like, I ain't buying that. Right. And some is like, that's that new stuff. We ain't buying that. We don't do that. And then some understand that we have to balance that out. Go ahead, Markia, Tyler, let's go.
What I was going to say was, I think the difference is, when we were growing up, we didn't have access to all of the world like this generation does. And so it was easier to go to school and translate what I learned in church, because we weren't combating that with what everybody else was doing, whether on social media or at the park or the playground and stuff like that. And so I think as adults or leaders, one of our goals should be to understand that portion of it, because as a millennial, we grew up in a time before computers, before the internet, before everything was shown on social media, but then we're also deep in the internet, everything showing up on social media and seeing everything before you even watch the news at 7 or whatever the case is. And so it's harder for us to say, you know, we didn't have all of that growing up. Well, we didn't have as much as they have now growing up. And so we have to change how we approach it because it's different. It's new. We have way more things now.
Good. Tyler?
And that's one of the things I love about Crave, and one of the things I do for the youth when they get there is we do something called Roses and Thorn every Wednesday, and I give the youth an option if they want to talk about it or not, because sometimes when they get to the crib, like if their parents had a bad day, their parents not asking them, how was your day? What happened at school? And sometimes that trauma could come from school. Like it could be the smallest things, like they want a boyfriend, or he might have dissed her. You know what I'm saying? A boy, he want a girl, but she might have dissed him and stuff like that. But that stuff weighs down on them. But when they get to the crib and their parents don't pay them no attention, that stuff sticks with them. So when they get to Crave, I ask them, how was y'all day? And they just sit there and they rap. They tell me like, this happened today, I got bullied today, this happened. So it's also creating a safe haven for them, somewhere that they could share their thoughts, because if they don't get it out, I teach them all the time, it's just like blowing up a balloon. The more you blow up a balloon, if you don't stop blowing it up, it's gonna pop, right? At some point, you need to release that. So that's why I asked them, how was your day? Give me a rose, give me a thorn for the day so they can release it. Because eventually, they going to pop.
So that's good. I'm looking online, too. I got the things online. Lakeisha Sanders says, Pastor Keisha says, trauma was never identified for what it was in my home because my mother didn't understand it to identify it. How do we help parents identify certain things in their home? Because I think a lot of the ignorance start with us as parents. And notice I say us because I'm a parent. There's certain things that we just, because again, we were all raised a certain way. And we just assume I'm going to raise my children the same way. The only difference is I get to give you a little bit more because we have more than our parents had, but that's not sufficient.
But you know what? Even with that, I think we were raised a certain way, but we experienced trauma even in the way we were raised.
Absolutely.
But we handle it a different way.
Well, we didn't know it was trauma.
You know, we didn't know it was trauma, but we handle it a different way.
So that's what I'm saying. How I need y'all help. How do we help parents identify these things in their home?
I personally think going back and asking parents what bothered them growing up. So for me, if we were dropping off at school, like you telling me all the things I didn't do right before I get to school and then say, all right, have a great day. This not gonna happen. Like, you can't name all the things I didn't do right at 7:30 in the morning and then say, no, go be great. Like, at some point, I have to stop you and say, this doesn't work for me. If you want to set me up for success, then you need to set me up for success. Like, and as a parent, I would want to know that. So if you come back and say, this, you know, if I show up in the morning and say, Mom, you didn't make my lunch, you didn't make sure my clothes were laid out, like you didn't do this, like how does that start your day? Like you can't expect me to go in and then say, all right, let's erase everything that just happened. It's not 8 o'clock in the morning and then go be great. But then you get mad if I come home and they say, oh, you're having a bad day. Like, well, yeah, you kind of set me up for this. Like,
So your answer is it's communicating.
Yes. So I would like for my parent to tell me how they were, like, how would you like to be sent off to school?
Okay.
Like, how do you start your day at work? Because if I'm letting you know this doesn't work, whether you think it's disrespectful or not, like,
So
this doesn't work for me. Yes.
So on whatever level, the parents must communicate with the children.
Openly. So I think it should be a two-way street. Like, I can't just tell you what's not working for me. Like, what doesn't work for you? Because this will help me understand, one, how you communicate to me, and then what I should be doing to reciprocate that.
I think that's, stay with me, I think that's great, but it's going to take parents seeing their children as humans to do that.
Yeah.
And as little people with feelings and the ability to express that. Because sometimes we think our kids can't express that. They can't express what they want or what they need. You know, we tell them, you just stay in the child's place. Well, I'm telling you what I as a child need.
Right.
And so you were going to say something on that? Were you going to say something on that? How do we help parents?
Well, I believe that it would be mature for the parents to recognize and deal with their own trauma first, like maybe seek therapy, because like trauma, it's like trauma is like a spirit, like it runs down. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like I'll give you an example. My dad, when he was like 17, I say he seen like somebody get their head blown off, right? So I felt like it was passed down to me because, like, you know, we'd be walking to the park and stuff, but he always walked with his gun. He was always, like, loading it and stuff like that. So now, when I get older, I'm always looking over my shoulder. When my dad died in the crib, now I'm sleeping with a knife under my pillow because it's just me, my mom, and my brothers and sisters in the crib. What if somebody walk in here? So deal with that trauma first and then go, you know what I'm saying, try to get your kids right because it passed down.
Yeah, y'all was going to say someone on that? That's good.
I think to Marquia's point about the conversation that needs to be had between parent and child, I have these conversations with my husband about, hey, are your needs being met? Are my needs being met? I do have these conversations with my son, like, my son is very expressive, so he'll tell me, like, Mommy, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and I'm just very angry right now. He's very expressive with his emotions, and I have to stop. And like sometimes I can't even respond to him because I have nothing.
So now, how old is your son?
My son is 4.
When your son is 4 and tells you, I'm very angry right now.
Yes.
As a parent, what do you do with that?
Sometimes
from a 4-year-old?
It honestly depends on the moment. Sometimes there's been moments when my son has expressed certain things to me, and in the moment of my day, and I think this is probably an issue for many other parents, is we're too busy, like Tyler said, dealing with our own stuff that we don't even see their stuff. So he's like, I'm so angry right now, and it could just be the simplest thing of, nope, I didn't get my cookie brownie today. You said you're gonna give me my cookie brownie, and I didn't have it. I'm angry, I'm upset. So I try to dissect it. Why are you so upset? And then he tells me, and I may try to reason with him on either, okay, I understand that you're upset right now, but this is what we can do. This is what we can do about it. Try to provide a solution. But I never try to say, I try to say like, I'm sorry you're upset, not you cannot be upset. I try to really watch what I say because in that moment, he mad. He's mad. I cannot change the way that he feels about that situation. But hey, sorry you feel that way. It's natural to feel upset, but this is what we can do about it. But like you said, those conversations have to be had. And I feel like an open dialogue between parent and child of what's working for you. And it's gonna hurt your feelings, especially if your children are honest. It's gonna hurt your feelings, but it's also gonna give you a moment to reflect to see, where am I missing the mark as a parent?
And would you all also say education?
What do you mean?
In terms of how can we help parents identify things like trauma and stuff among their children in their home? Would you say education?
I would say, yeah, I mean.
Absolutely.
Like
you know your child, you know your child. You can see, if you're sensitive to it, you can see when there's a change in your child. It's be the smallest thing. Or if you don't, pay more attention. Pay more attention.
And you have to be open and you have to communicate with them, because a lot of times we still look at children as children. You know, you do what I, say, don't watch me. I can do whatever I want to do, I'm grown. And we got a lot of parents that's divorced, they're remarrying, they have significant others who are mistreating their children. They've already made plans to marry this person, and you've not included the children in how this is going to come as a blended family. You know, a lot of time these kids, they'll come and tell me, I don't like my mom's boyfriend. I don't like him. He's mean. I said, but have you talked to mom about it? I can't. Because we going to do what we going to do as an adult and just say, I have the right to marry who I want to, and that's true, but you're bringing another person in your household.
Right. So the question, identifying, how do we help parents identify this trauma in the home with their children? Communication, as we all just pretty much said. Talking,
paying attention,
being open and honest, and education. I think I
not
saw
being dismissive.
Not being dismissive.
Because children will talk to you if they feel they have a listening ear.
Yeah. Right.
But most time we're so busy because we've worked all day. We're trying to get the meal cooked. We're trying to cook. Children are tapping on us, and we're like, yeah, baby,
Yeah.
And we're not fully listening.
Gotcha. And so that not being dismissive, listening, and education. What you may not be able to take a class, but read a book, read a blog, do something to make yourself aware of what these things are. You hear it all the time. You see it in the news. You're seeing more and more of it. You want to educate your ignorance around it. We had to do that. We had to read some things. We had to order books. You know, we had a book. London has a book called When Love Is Not Enough. Because first I didn't even like the title. I'm like, we reading that. What do you mean when love is not enough? You know, we go right spiritual. Love is everything. God is love, and the Lord, and that's true. But I think we got to bring balance to a lot of this stuff. And so we spent some time reading and educating ourselves on some things, and that really helped. And now trying to talk with the kids, the boys more. Sometimes I know I don't listen because I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to tell you, I've been there, I've done that. And they're like, but, you know, I'm trying to tell you this. I know what you're trying to say, but, you know, you don't know what I'm trying to say because you didn't let me say it. But I know, because we're so big in protective mode. We want to protect our children, so we are sometimes dismissive because I feel like I know what I'm telling you. So just hear what I'm saying and do what I'm saying, but you still have to hear these children.
I think we find ourselves in this place of being dismissive because that's what was done to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and even in that is education, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's the wrong education, but to some degree, we tend to pass down what was done to us or what we received, right?
Absolutely.
And so it happens so naturally, you know, and so we have to have those, what Dominique said, you know, back in the day, we couldn't, you know what I mean? And so back in the day, we couldn't, that was trauma. And so now you have to stop yourself mid-sentence with back in the day and say, you know what, I know what back in the day did for me, did to me, so I have to stop and say I'm not going to pass down or give my child back in the day, because I don't want my child living in the same space that I'm living in right now because of back in the day.
But the reality is, this culture and generation of children and young adults and teenagers can't live back in the day. They don't even know what back in the day is. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I had to do as a parent, I had to kind of recalibrate my whole way of thinking about my boys.
Yep.
They not in the 70s. They don't know about the fire hydrant. They don't know about the block club. I had to really understand that. And I think as parents, we're so stuck on how we were raised and what we did and how we did it, not realizing it ain't like that no more. Like you encyclopedias, they're not even around. Like, I remember go get the encyclopedia and read what an anaconda is. And I got to go in the A section. You know, it's about 50 books. I had to do that. And not realizing my son can he can take a whole class on anything, how to make a bomb, how to have sex, how to date, how to set your plate. He can do all of that online in 15 minutes. And so I had to say, wait a minute, because I'm behind, obviously. So I got to level up my way of thinking and look at life through his eyes, and I can't do it through my eyes. And then there's a thing called balance. Because I'm in this place now where my oldest son is 25. And so the parent in me is totally different because I've done my part. So praise the Lord. Go be great, right? And my youngest son, he's still doing I'm developing into a man. And so now I got to focus on how can I change my perspective on how he learns, what he needs, how he communicates, the struggle that he has, the trauma that he deals with. How can I correlate all of those things and put it into a form where I can say, son, this is what I want for you. This is how I need you to act. This is what I need you to do, from a place that he can feel relatability. And he can feel like, hey, my dad understands me. My mom understands me. And I think as parents, we don't open ourselves up like that. It's and here's the term, it's my way or the highway. And when you think about that, what if your way wrong? As a parent, real talk, what if your way is wrong? And we don't consider that because we don't like to be wrong. You know, I grew up.
What if our way is right?
What if our way is right, but what if it's wrong? You got to be honest enough. The way my grandmama and them raised me, God rest her soul, I got hit with Kool-Aid scoopers. I got hit. No. My grandmama hit me with the first cable remote, the one that go clicker. And she didn't even feel bad. Didn't I tell? Boom, I'm bleeding and everything. I'm like, this can't be right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this can't be right.
Right.
I'm traumatized.
Right.
I can't look at cable the same. But that don't work. Like, I can't throw a remote control at my son. Like, come on. Like, we're in a whole new time. You can go to jail. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's so much other stuff. Cause they gonna go to Elder Cat. Yeah. You know my mama hit me with a remote.
Still bleeds.
You still bleed. I'm a mandated reporter. I got to report. It's just so much that we have to take. We got to take a different approach. Open ourselves up and just, hey man, it might not work like I was raised. I can't drag my son down the street cussing because he wasn't on the porch by the time the street lights came. It's a different generation.
Yeah. So how much? Yeah,
you gotta have balance though.
No, how? Because the older saints looking at you like, all right, dude. So listen, with the culture being so destructive and deceptive, how much independence and choice should we give our youth? I'll ask it again.
Okay.
And all the old saints woke up and said, yeah.
Can I address that for a second?
Let me ask the question so everybody can hear it again. With the culture being so deceptive and destructive and us wanting the best for our children, how much independence and choice do we give them? Go ahead, Elder.
Okay, one thing as parents and grandparents or guardians we should do is we should know where our children are. In other words, we should be able to track them on the phone. That's one. Not because we're the FBI or the Illuminati or anything like that, you know. But we should know where you are.
Okay, now I want to hear it all, and I want you to slow down, though. Now explain to all of us and our youth why that is important.
Yes.
Well, it's important because, number one, if you're underage and you commit a crime, we as parents and guardians, we're going to have to pay the price for that because we're responsible for your actions. And if you're out committing a crime, we're going to literally have to pay for that, represent you, and we might be charged for it because we're your guardian. We're in charge. We're not trying to run your life or control your life. We're trying to help you enjoy life. And secondly, parents, guardians, we should know their inner circle. We should know who they're hanging with, where they live, their phone number, and we should know their parents. Because when something happens, we know who to call, we know who to contact. In other words, we should have access to that inner circle because, see, the Word of God says, bad company corrupts good morals.
And I think, I think, excellent response. That response is not always accepted by this generation. And that's why I wanted you to explain why. We're not trying to control, but it's even a safety thing.
It's a safety issue.
That I know where you are. I don't ever want to be called and say, well, where's Justin or where's Jaden? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They left here by 8. I don't know. I should know where you are. And then I should know who you're with. Mm-hmm. Right. So I don't like to play the game of, well, I'm going out with my friends. Okay, names, addresses, right, numbers, license plates. I need to know these things. Mm-hmm. It's protection. So I don't think that's old school. I think that is good parenting.
And along with that too, with young ladies, if the young ladies are out, as parents, we should make sure that they have enough money to get back home if their friends are tripping, tweaking, and you know, we should make sure they have enough money or we cash app them because we don't want them going out with friends and they run out of money and they're left there, you know, screaming, yelling, and saying, I ain't got no way home. You know, because we
That's right.
experienced that with our youngest daughter. Years ago, they went out to a restaurant, and we were down the street and let them have fun, all their friends together. And then she texted me asking a question, what is a gratuity? I mean, they all got together and went to a restaurant and didn't know what a gratuity meant. They had to pay a tip, and they didn't have the money. And then one of the people she was with, gas station card didn't work. So as parents, we had to go down there and rescue her and the group of people. So, you know, to avoid those vision collisions, we gotta talk, in the words of Tevin Campbell, can we talk for a minute?
And so it's kind of like, again, excellent response. Florida Evans told Thelma, you take $1 for the taxi and a dime for the payphone.
Right.
Well, we're in a different time. I tell my boys, when you leave the house, make sure your phone is charged. Make sure you have your
location services on.
you have your what's the
Charger?
The card.
Oh, your wallet.
Your wallet.
Your wallet.
And what else I tell them to have? Your key.
Your key.
You gotta have your key. You gotta have your wallet, and you gotta have your cell phone.
So it sounds like how much of independence and choice that comes out of how well they understand and comprehend what's being taught.
And follow the rules.
Absolutely. So when you don't comprehend or understand what's being taught and being given to you, then now your independence and your choice, you being able to make choices, is now taken.
And I think as parents, I know we do this for our boys. We teach them how to get certain things. So like if they want to go out with their friends, we know, you have to give us these questions. I shouldn't have to ask you,
I gave him the formula.
I gave you the formula to get what you need.
I gave him the formula for the yes.
When you understand that formula, you get the yes. If you don't understand the formula, you get a no.
There you go. You got to understand.
And that's a great answer. So
that's the second part of that question, though.
What is it?
Because it asks how much independence and choice should youth be given.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You have to deal with the youth according to knowledge of that youth. And they're all different.
Yeah.
Each child, even though they got the same mom and daddy, most of them, they are still different, and their level of maturity is different.
That's right.
Their level of insight and judgment is different, and you can't put it can't be just one size fit all.
That's a great answer.
And the other children should not have to suffer the consequences of a poor choice of an older sibling.
Go ahead, Marquis. The kids are clapping. Now, they done woke up back there. Listen, I need audio to give me a mic in both aisles for in-house questions. Go ahead, Marquia. And then I got Shantae with questions for me. Go ahead.
I agree. Dealing with children based on that child. But I also think parents should understand that some of that stuff comes with time. So growing up, like my thing when I went away to college, on a weekend, why am I telling you where I'm at? Because I don't tell you where I'm at Monday through, like if I come home from school for the weekend. But my mom's rule was always like, if you're going out, let me know where you are. And I'm like, you don't know where I'm at Monday through Friday. So why you need to know where I'm at now? But becoming an adult and, loving someone else and understanding what that means for a rule, now it's different. So now it's like, no, where you at? If you don't call me at the same time, I'm like, what's going on? Like, because you now have something else, like you can lose something, whether it's your child or something, like it becomes different. My priorities switch.
I just feel like we have this thing in the house, everybody knows where everybody goes. And if I, as the man of the house and she the woman of the house, and I can't leave, I don't ever just leave the house. Whenever I leave the house, they all know where I'm going. I'm about to run down to the Jewel and then run to the cleaners and I'll be back. If I have to do that, how my kids don't have to do it? You get to just leave and I don't know. I mean, they say I don't know. That doesn't work. But I love your answer. It's based on the child. It's based on how they follow what you're setting up there. So if there's certain things that are mandates in the home and you can't follow those, then it may tamper with how much choice and independence that you get. That's a great answer. Yep. Great answer. So if you can put, Shantae has some first. Now, here's the thing. I told y'all this wasn't going to happen in 1 week because I haven't even got to the differently able part, which is very big for us, and those that have special needs, because I think it is more prevalent than we think in our local church and in our families. And I have those that can speak to that. But I want to ride the waves that we're on. I don't want to just try to get it all done in one night. So I want to stay here for just a second. There's a lot of questions around this area. Shantae, you want to come? She's giving questions from online. There's a host, people online that are watching and have questions. Great question. Jump, go.
I love this question because I can see myself as a young teenager when my parents were telling me that, and then now I'm a mother, so I'm like right in the middle of it. I do consider myself my kids' friends. I know what they like. If I know they're having a bad day, I know how to make them laugh. If they want to play the Wii, I'll get up and dance with them, and I know what stores they want to go to. So it's about knowing your kid and being friendly. There's a new term out there called gentle parenting, and people are like, I'm not gentle with my kids. Because we always think we have to place fear in our kids and get them equipped for all the stuff that's going to happen to them in the real world. So it's kind of like we're putting them through boot camp in our home so we can send them out for the war that they're going to go through in life. But in that, you also need to know, like, this is your safe space. And with that, you do have to be gentle. You do have to be friendly. Now, are you going to let them talk to you any kind of way? No, you have to set boundaries like you would with a healthy relationship or a healthy friendship. So this is not a friendship where, we're immature, but if we are friends, you can speak to me and I can speak to you. So I think there is a level of friendship that we can have with our kids, and still that they respect us as you would do a true friend.
So you think that you can be friends with your children?
I think you can.
Yeah,
I think as a parent, and because like you said, we are their guardians, we do have the last word. Mm-hmm. And we are more developed and more mature, so we know what's safe and what keeps them, alive. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think we can be friends.
I think you can too, but I think it's a lot of it's a lot of understanding, a lot of conversation around it, because kids are going to give you age-appropriate responses.
Come on.
And so if we're friends, sometimes they don't know how to do both.
It's for a mature audience.
They don't know how to wear both hats. You know what I'm saying? They don't. You may know. I just got through playing Wii with you, and I get in there and clean your room. Like, what? No, but we just got through playing Wii. Like, what's up? And so I think it can be done, but I think it can be very challenging. It's especially as kids get older.
Yeah, you have to have boundaries.
Yeah.
Because you wrestling around with your child at 10, it looks a little different when you wrestling around and they 16.
But I think that being friends, like I actually think that it's a need. It is a must to be a friend to your child, so that they know how to navigate through friendships, so that they know how to navigate with boundaries. With any friendship, you need to have boundaries. So their first learning experience of friendship should be at home. Teach them how to be a good friend. This is how you create those boundaries. You teach them everything else. Teach them how to be a good friend.
I think friendship should be taught in this house. What does friendship look like here? In your home. Because you can misinterpret friendship in the home thinking it's the same friendship at school, and that ain't happening. Because so that's why I say it's for a mature audience. So you have to, like you said, it comes with a great deal of talking, understanding. So you have to convey that to your children. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I am the safe place that you need. I am your friend. This is what friendship looks like here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that has to be conveyed.
I think, like Kia said, if you started early, and you're teaching, you're grooming, you're giving understanding. It's different once you get a certain age, and now you're trying to be friends to cover up some of the things in your home, or some of the traumas, or you want to buy them things to keep from dealing with this. That's the wrong kind. But I think starting early and work, because I do think it is possible. And I think because sometimes we only see the negative side of things, we automatically assume that things won't work. But I think it will if it's done properly. We've seen it work the wrong way, and now Jimmy won't respect mama and won't respect daddy, and I just think it's been done the wrong way. That's just my opinion on it.
And it changes with the child's age.
Yeah, absolutely.
It changes.
Right.
Absolutely. We have young adults now.
Yeah.
And we have to now dialogue about how we can navigate this thing together.
Absolutely.
And you're still a young adult, but you're still living in my house.
Right. And that's the thing. I am grooming you as a young adult, but you still live in my house. And so that's a whole nother conversation, because sometimes children feel like once I hit the young adult thing, then I'm just as old as you. Like that's like you said, your son was sitting in your chair drinking out your cup, like this was his house. You know, we got, and when you said that, I noticed it. I would get home, be like, hey, why you in my chair, man? You in my chair, scratching your junk and drinking out of my cup. Like, hey, man. Right. That's my chair.
And that's for me, and this just me. The word friend for me is a little different. And I don't want my son to be my friend. And I listen, I'm open to a different revelation. But for me, and maybe you know what I'll use for my boys, I can't be my friend. I can't be my son's friend for my sons, because I don't think they're mature enough to handle that. And if you my friend and you feel like we cool and you cross a certain line, you're gonna get a different response. And so I want you to what I want you to understand is, as you're a father, you get all of the friend attributes. You get the love, we make up, me and my sons got handshakes, we do all of that. But at the end of the day, if I call you my friend, I'm afraid you're gonna look at me on the same level. Therefore, you sitting in my chair, you drinking out my bowl. This is I have a bowl. I ain't by myself. I got a certain bowl that I eat cereal out of. That's my bowl. Don't nobody eat out of that bowl. Don't nobody drink out my cup, and you coming in the house and you in my chair talking about, what up, Dad? No, man, we not cool like that.
He don't get up when you come?
No, he want to do the handshake.
In your
I'm
chair.
like, dude, get out of my chair.
But here's the thing. You said you open to new revelation. You don't have to be. It's okay if that's where you are with your boys.
Right.
The point of the discussion is not to get us all on the same page in terms of let's all be friends. That may work well for the Taylor home. It may work well for the Bradleys. And you may say for you, it doesn't work. And that's okay. So I'm not trying to give you my revelation to get you to go home and be friends with your boys. You know your house. You know your boys. You know all of that. And you just said, my boys can't handle that. Case closed.
It comes back to what I said earlier, that what friendship looks like here. You know what I'm saying? So whatever conversations we have in this home, in this house, in this chair, at this bowl, you know what I'm saying? We have to, you know what I'm saying, identify. We have to say,
but he
this
said,
is what, you know what I'm saying?
You get all the friend attributes.
Right.
I'm going to give you all of that.
Yeah,
I'm going to give you that
That's
conversation.
I
give you the conversation. I give you the attention. I give you all of that, because at the end of the day, when you look at models don't always have titles. They just have everything that it's supposed to look like. You can put the title to it later. We just cool. If we cool, that don't mean we not friends. We just ain't got the friend title, but we cool. So having your perspective is, I think that plays a part in it as well. It's just for me, and in my house, I can't have that.
Yeah.
But I think you do have it. You just have boundaries, because they have all the friends qualities,
Without
but when
the
it comes to a certain thing, you can't do this. So you are friends with your boys, but you have boundaries.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, I was going to say it goes back to what Lance was saying. He said that it's for a mature audience, meaning both the parent and the child. Because I'm from the hood, and growing up, like, my daddy friends, they used to let their sons shoot at garbage cans with their guns. Like that's you know what I'm saying? It's for a mature audience. And from my experience, like my dad let me sip gin when I was like 7 years old, like he was his friend. So now I'm growing up, now I'm drinking a fifth of Hennessy every time I'm in the club. But that was because he thought that we were friends when I was a kid. So it's like like you said, it's for a mature audience. Now, when they get of age, then yes, you could do a little bit more. But nowadays, especially for this generation, like like we said before, like it runs down. So like, you know, they shooting garbage cans as shorties, now they shooting adults as adults. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I got to say.
And this is why you can't take anybody's experience away, because we all have different ones, and we come up with how we do life from our experiences. So he's telling you that didn't work on that level. And you said, well, no, it works. All you gotta do is, it didn't work on that level for him. And it's called humility when approaching people and what his story is. Got to do that. Yes, ma'am, because I want to make sure I get some of these in.
Okay, so for me, with my trauma, I fought very hard to create a safe space for my child, but then I also have an only child. So I'm the only one in the house with her, so she communicates on a different level. So in that, creating that safe space and always going to her, and you know, I didn't have this when I was a child. So because of that, my fight is to make sure that I create this space for you, that you get it in the home. But what I find a lot of times is I get a flashback, because now you're communicating to me as if you're on my level. So now I'm having a flashback like, wait a minute, you get your mouth twisted off for this, or you'll get, you know, and so it's hard to find that balance. How do you continue to create that space? But then at the same time, you know, no, you can't communicate with me like I'm on your level.
The balance.
She said, your question is, how do you continue to create?
Right, because then they feel like you're shutting them down. But no, this is a time that you can't speak to me like that.
Gotcha. Y'all help her. Jump in.
I am an only child, and it's just me and my mom in the house. So our relationship is similar to you and your daughters, and we definitely had that battle of, you're disrespecting me. The difference is you have identified that you feel disrespected versus sweeping it underneath the rug and continuing to let the disrespect go on. So it's really tricky because you all have already had that close-knit bond. It's already there. So breaking and trying to teach your daughter to respect you on a different level or to create that boundary, it may be difficult, but it is possible. So I think that for you and your daughter, you have to have that conversation of, look, let me be very clear right here. This is what is, and this is another thing. My mom would say that I was disrespecting her, and I had no idea of what she was talking about. You need to lay out what is disrespect for you in your house. So when you go home, hey, when you raise your voice, if we go here, yeah, you too loud. Bring it down here. You can talk with emotion and hands, maybe not. Like in my house, my son cannot ball up his fist at me. Unball your fist, because who you about to hit, you know? But so you have to do that boundary. You have to do that boundary and balance for yourself. But it's a conversation of identifying what disrespect is and having that conversation of, we're not going to do this here, or we cannot talk. Or we cannot talk.
Okay, tag her in. Then I got to come back to you, Kia.
Because we going through that in my house now, because we have the young adult. And she didn't perceive herself as being disrespectful. It's again that boundary, because she's 26 and she's trying to put herself on my level. And I understand this generation, they have reclaimed terms. You know, a bee back in our days was a female dog. But a bee now, that's a compliment to the hilt. And my daughter said, Mommy, you a bad bee. I was like, what?
She called you a bad bee?
You a bad bee. I was like, you getting ready to be a dead bee.
She said you about to be a dead bee.
So I had to take,
oh my God.
Let's pray.
So I had to get her understanding of what that was. And after she explained it to me, she said, no, it's not a bad thing, Mom. It wasn't trying to be disrespectful. That was a compliment. But I had to let her know I'm still old school and I'm still mama.
Right. So here's my thing. Kia, I think, because when you said that, parents kind of lifted up.
Yes.
You said your mom said you were being disrespectful and you had no idea what she was talking about. How is that? How do you not know?
Because it was never defined.
Right.
So if you let something, it was never defined. Now, I knew certain things were disrespectful. Like I said earlier, you cannot go in a room and not talk to an adult. You cannot say certain things. So I just did not know in that moment. Like, my mom let me freely express myself. Certain things I want to say, I could say. It was, she told me that my granddad told her not to beat the creativity out of me, and she did not. But what she failed to do was create certain healthy boundaries that should have been had in our household, which we both didn't identify until adulthood, and becoming the mother to say, hey, you were right about that. And sometimes it takes that becoming in your parents' shoes to see them as a human, to see what they're really talking about, just like we have to see our children as human. So like I said, I did not know what disrespect was, but once we sat down and we were both level and calm, because my mom would get so angry that she could not talk to me, because she didn't want to spaz out on me. But when we can calm down and we talked, and she was like, no, when I say do this, this is what I mean. And when I say this is disrespect, this is what I mean. So I would have to even ask for understanding, like, Mom, is that disrespectful? And she would be like, yeah, I'm gonna need you not. And that was that. Now, if I messed up and I got in trouble for it. But now we have a clear understanding of this is disrespectful and we will not have it tolerated in this household.
So I think you hit it. So after every discipline warrants discussion. So when you have to discipline your child about a certain situation or whatever, I think right after the discipline, there should be a healthy conversation about why are you being disciplined? Because if you leave the discipline moment still angry and you don't have the discussion, now your kid is shutting down. Because all they see now is you still angry, you upset, you walking through the house, you know what I'm saying, huffing and puffing. And so after the discipline, there needs to be a healthy discussion. Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you have anything else? Dominique, go while she's getting me the next one if she got one. Go ahead.
So I love what Kia said about identifying what is disrespect in the household, because sometimes other people can try to teach you how to raise your kids, or you're parenting for everyone else's approval, and you're not really offended, or you don't feel like that was disrespect. So definitely identify those certain nuances. Like, you know, I couldn't do that, right? Right. And I mean, look, but you're not, like, nowadays, we have kids that are cursing their parents out, that are being physically aggressive, that are running away, but yet I couldn't express a very small emotion because I'm disappointed because I had to stop my favorite thing and start your favorite thing. So in my house, if somebody does a quick, I may let it go, because to me, I get it. You're disappointed. I would rather you say, Mom, I'm disappointed. I really don't want to do this now. But however you want to express it, that's not disrespect to me. But I will have to say, like Kia said, once you raise your voice, once you go back and forth with me, if you slamming doors or whatever those, we have to identify those small nuances that are like, no, these are non-negotiable in my house.
Absolutely. And I think you said it best. It's what's not okay in my house. And I don't need to be on him and dude, you shouldn't take, that's his house. But for my house, certain things we ain't gonna do. You're not gonna slam no doors in the house. We're not gonna do that. Right. And so, and then there are other things, like you said, I don't mind that. Like, hey, express yourself. But then there are other things, but it has to be discussed. Has to be discussed. Yes, Bridget.
Real quick, on the friendship thing, a lot of times our children already considers us as best friends. We didn't say that we're gonna be friends. My mom is my best friend. I say that now. My mom is my best friend, and she beat me and everything else. So with the friend thing, is it okay to just have the child to consider you their best friend versus you being their best friend? Because how do you, just for the ones that say it's okay, because I do want to understand that too, how do you keep it where the level is like you're not on my level? So yes, I can be your best friend, but you're not mine.
I think it comes back to what Kia said earlier, like these roles and all of these things have to be defined. we have to create that space and that opportunity for these roles to be defined. You don't want to leave them open-ended. You don't want to leave it up to them to define it alone, right? Right. So you have to. It's like you have to. You know what I'm saying? You have to define what this looks like, what this means here.
Lance, can I ask a question to our illustrious youth? Now, I would like to hear one of you to comment on that. Do you want your parent or guardians to be your best friend? And what does it look like?
Talking about.
I mean, we want to hear what you say.
Somebody's over here.
Smiley coming up. Smiley coming up.
Okay.
Adjust the mic.
Y'all help her with the mic.
Little y'all see who my mama is. Thank you. So in my house,
Take it out. Just take the mic out. There you go.
So in my house, with my mom, it was always everything was up for discussion. Everything was up for discussion because my mama, she a real understanding person. So it was literally a conversation I had growing up with me. I'm a real knowledgeable person. I like to know a lot of stuff. So the way I would come across and say things, she'll be like, I know you not coming from a standpoint of you trying to be disrespectful to people, but some people don't understand you how I understand you, so you might have to correct yourself. So I literally had a conversation with my mom. I was like, okay, I'm finna tell you stuff and stop me when I get disrespectful. I express my feelings, but that don't happen with everybody. And so when I was standing up here and you guys were like, don't belittle your children, but the whole statement of you're not on my level sounds like belittlement to us. It's saying you don't have as much value as me. You're not as important to me. You don't put up what I put up, so you can't have a say so in what we do. You don't pay bills. You don't own this house. You don't pay for nothing. So and it
that's good.
And it.
Go ahead.
And when you bring up the stuff that you do for your children, it makes us feel like a burden. It makes us feel like I can't wait till I grow up so I don't have to be a burden to you anymore. If you say, it's like when people be like, your parents had a life before you, it makes you feel like I made you so miserable and bitter and like I just don't want to be here anymore because you don't want me to be here anymore. So why should I be here and put my best foot forward if the person who gave birth to me and made me come in this life doesn't want me? How am I supposed to look at somebody else for love if I feel like I'm not getting love at home? What do you do when you want to have somebody to talk to, but they like, you can't talk to them? You go to somebody else to talk to, and that's not who you want us to talk to. How am I supposed to come and talk to you, and you don't listen to me, but somebody else may listen to me, but they not gonna treat me how you want me to be treated? You love me, but you don't show it. But they don't love me, but they act like they love me. So I'm going to go to the person that acts like they love me, and not the person who. I'm going to go to the person who acts like they love me. Because when you grow up like this and you grow up with people who emotionally stunt your growth, you go looking for other people and you insecure. You go looking for other people for sex, for people who going to tell you, oh, you're pretty. That's why the first person to tell you you're pretty, I'm glad my mama never, they say your parent and your family is your first bully, point out every insecurity you have, and then you want your kids to feel beautiful and smart and go to school with people who telling them the same thing you tell them. That's not going to work. You can't want to be your children's love and shelter, but you're not that. That's materialistic things. If God was only materialistic to you, you will feel hurt. You need to have your spirit be healed. You need to have your spirit be fed. It's okay to have clothes and shoes and all this stuff, but what about my spirit? What about my emotions? What about my mental state? You can't be, you look pretty on the outside. You got me nice shoes. You got me nice things. But I'm struggling on the inside. Some people want to commit suicide, but they look good on the outside. Y'all focus on the outside so much that you don't take the time. You say you listen to your children, but 9 times out of 10, you're not really listening because we don't feel safe. You say you create a safe space, but that's 9 times 10 is not true. Because even though my parents never hit me or they never threatened to hit me, they words hurt even worse. When you telling me, you never say you disappointed in me, but your body language show it all. You look at me like I'm just some Like, you can't believe how you raised this. Some people say it to their kids, I can't believe I raised somebody like this. Well, if you raised me so beautifully that you said you is, how come I ended up like this? It's a lot of things that go into having a kid. And some people end up resenting their kids when they have them too young or they have them with the wrong person. Some people just realize that sometimes it's too late to recognize the trauma, because when you get older and I don't have to spend time with you, how often do you see me? When I don't have to live with you no more, how often do you see me? When I have some people get jobs, some people hang out with friends' house because they don't want to go home, and you refuse to recognize that you yourself have caused your child's trauma, whether you want to admit it or not. And that's the issue.
Yeah. We're going to close out on that. Pastor Ellis said you could have his chair on the panel for next week. Man, you said a whole lot, baby girl. Yeah, we're going to pick up that next week. Man. No, you're laughing, but she said a whole lot. She just spoke for all of you sitting back there and those watching online. That's good. I think we should just stop there. Man, she's talking and I'm thinking like, and London's tearing up like, okay, I'm thinking about my kids and where I fit in there, and like, man, girl, you said a whole lot. Yeah, I gotta hear that again. Okay, man, okay, you ain't know where to go, man. It's like, okay, so next week. Next week, we'll pick up there, and I do want to hear more from Crave. Thank you, Elder, for asking to hear from them. Yeah. Did you guys enjoy tonight? Okay, so many questions online. But we got to pick it up next week. Somebody said she need an offering. That baby better preach. People at home crying. Wow. Okay. All right. Who baby is that? That's a youngest? No, I'm as you said, I'm reflecting on what she just said, man. She said a lot. Okay, we got to stop today. Will you come back next week? I want to hear from Crave. Somebody said something? Yeah, so next week, same thing. We're going to go right from the real life talk into our discussion. And I may even start exactly at 7 with the discussion. We're back in the building. So we're here anyway. So if you want to come, you can come. I encourage you to come, but we'll be in the building. We have an audience every first Wednesday, but we're here every Wednesday live from the building. So I encourage you to come back and let's town hall together. I want to see all of Crave here. Bring your children, bring your family. Let's dive into this. We're going to take more questions from the audience. We only got through 2 of our things today, but it was really good. And I think everybody's addition here was necessary. So good, so good, so good. Man, she just dropped the mic and walked off, man. We all sitting there looking like, now what? Like, I mean, she just kept going, like, man. Jeez. She said we called some of it. We presented. You heard her say that? Okay. London's sitting up here tearing up, like, man.
This is why we should talk to our young people.
This is why we got to talk to our young people. Because I believe all she just expressed, any one of our kids could have expressed that if they feel a safe place to do so.
But you know what else? You know what else she mentioned?
That
her mom knew her baby.
Yeah.
Like she knew that her daughter wasn't coming from a place of
I
disrespect.
like that. But I think I heard you say she says, stop me when I get disrespectful.
Yes. Yeah.
We could dissect her whole little piece for the whole next segment. Man, listen. Oh, but I'm going to tell you, we're going to all be better at the end of this. Right? We're not just talking for talking's sake.
Yeah.
We're going to all be better. And what I encourage you to do is every week when you leave here, go home and put something into play. If it's just starting to talk with the kids on the way home.
Man.
You know, start making adjustments and watch when this month is over. We end this month on the 5th Sunday. And what we're doing that Sunday is we're having family photos. And my prayer is that after you have been through this month of teachings and panels on family, that the smiles in that photo will be bigger. So you get a free family photo at the end of this month. Yeah. What you mean? A for real smile. Yeah. Oh my God. What's the baby girl's name? Ren? That's your name, baby. My God. Okay, let's take a moment and give, and we can be released in Jesus' name. Prepare your hearts. There are many ways to give. It should be on the screen at this time. We never come together without to give you an opportunity to participate in God's plan to prosper you. Yeah, it's up to you. There's no pressure. There's no fear. There's no pushing. There's no pulling. You do what God has called you to do. You do it quickly, and we can get you all home in Jesus' name. This has been great. It's been great. Yeah, she summed the whole talk up and just, yeah. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Okay, while you're preparing that, don't forget about, what's on here for me to say? Nothing. We didn't talk about all this. We put it online. I know you saw it on our church page, but this is Mama Taylor right here. And the new baby Grace Amani Taylor, 9 pounds, 4 ounces. And she's here serving with us tonight. Yeah, I love our community. Okay, lift your gifts up, get our confession up, and let's say this together as we always do. Are you ready? I need everybody with your gifts up, and let's go together. We declare by faith that the vision of Lifeline Church, come on.
We believe that Lifeline Church is good ground. Therefore, each week, each one, bring a tithe and an offering according to what God has given us. We don't give under pressure or out of fear, but we give willingly and cheerfully, and our heart is in our need. Father, because we trust you with our money, we thank you. We will always, under all circumstances, and whatever the need, have more than enough. We trust you and we love you. Receive our gifts, use them, bless them, multiply them in Jesus' name.
Amen. So go ahead and hit send. If you have envelopes, they have these buckets for you. They'll pass them. Man. For real though, did y'all get some out of tonight? So spread the word. We're coming back in the building next Wednesday. Bring all your children, bring your youth, bring your families. Let's go ahead and get this done right in Jesus' name. Steve, somebody's on the front needs something there. There you go. All right, there, over here too. Yeah. I know a lot of our ushers and stuff are not here tonight. So y'all give it up for Steve, who's serving so graciously. Come on down. Come all the way down, Steve. Yeah. There you go. Bless you, sir. Good stuff. Let's stand up. Let's go home. Crave, we want to hear from y'all next week, too. And Shantae, maybe you can help us stay on track with these online questions and people that have questions in the building. All right. I pray that you have sweet sleep tonight. And refreshing waking up in the morning. I speak grace and peace to your house. And I declare in Jesus' name that all is well with you and your family. Go in peace, and we will see you next time. Love on somebody on your way out. Love on somebody on your way out. And I'll see you next time.